to the Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, which it is not. This is Warp Factor 10. So some of you may be confused that are coming in here. Usually we're doing the podcast, the gaming news podcast at this time on Saturdays, but this time the gaming news podcast is taking the week off. It'll come back next week. And of course, we are doing Warp Factor 10, our show about all things Star Trek here on the Arena Productions. So, which is our mid-season review of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, obviously. So we're going to be talking about that a lot tonight. So anybody in the chat, if you like to ask some questions or discuss any of the episodes, that's what we're here for in this episode. So, of course, I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burley. So Burley is on the bridge with me again for Warp Factor 10. So, excited, Burley, to talk some Star Trek here.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know me, I'm always excited to talk Star Trek.
Yep. So we've had 5 episodes and we have 5 more left. So each week on Paramount Plus. So it's going to be interesting as things go on, especially with this, now the actors are on strike as well with the writers. And it doesn't seem like there's any end in sight. So after this season, we might not see Strange New Worlds again for another year or two, the way things are going.
Yeah, and the way they're projecting these strikes are going to last quite a while. I'm hoping both sides are willing to come to the tables.
Yeah.
And hopefully sooner rather than later, because it's not just these people that this is affecting, not just the actors and writers.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of businesses. There's a bunch of lighting companies in LA. They said, by this time we've lost about half our business right now is lost.
Wow.
So it's a lot of businesses like that people don't think about.
Yeah.
Those are all impacted because productions are shut down.
Right.
So hopefully things get up and flowing again, so that way everyone involved can continue to get money and provide for families and all that.
Right. So anyway, before we move on, before we talk about the episodes, episodes 1 through 5, so obviously mid-season we are at now, I just want to say, and I pinned the message in the chat, that this is going to be a spoiler-filled show. Obviously, most of our Warp Factor 10 shows are spoiler-filled because we're doing breakdown and discussion of the episodes. So this live stream is going to be spoiler-filled. So if any of you out there that come in, just want to let you know, check the messages and just know that this is going to be spoiler-filled. So if you have not watched any of the first 5 episodes of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, you might want to head out and go and watch them. And then come back later and watch this. This live stream will also, when we're finished, it will go up to the Warp Factor 10 playlist. So you can check it out at any time later on. But that's just your spoiler warning. So I don't want any of you coming in and that haven't watched it thinking that we're just going to speculate on the episodes or whatnot. We've seen them and we've done videos already, breakdowns and discussions. But this is going to be a spoiler-filled live stream here. So just talking about all 5 episodes. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and throw up, there's going to be a bunch of images from the episodes that are going to come up as we're talking, as we're discussing them. So enjoy, and let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and get that started here. So so it'll start another minute or so from episode 1, then it goes from episode 1 to episode 5. But anyway, so Burley, let's start with topic number 1 for this live stream. Which character in this season has stood out the most?
Oh, that is a tough one, because we've had a lot of great character moments with a lot of the different cast and crew on this. So you're making me Sorry, I'm trying
Long
to think
pause
of
there, yeah.
yeah, like I'm trying not to do the long pause. I'm not doing it for dramatic effect or nothing like that. It's a matter of like, pick Un. Do I pick Spock? Do I like which one do I pick here? Because it's just like
Okay, I'll go
there's been great
first.
moments.
I'll go
Yeah.
first since you have to think about it. I have to go with Christina Chong as of course La'an Noonien Singh. I think she stood out the most because she's been in most of the episodes and she's gotten a lot of screen time. So and she's an amazing actress and she's multi-talented. She's a singer as well. And did you know, Burley, that I think she was in Doctor Who a while ago as well. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I did not know that.
Yeah, so I mean, she's been in I think she's been in every episode, and she's been featured in like at least two of them now. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I mean, that was a great episode with Paul Wesley, and then of course in the first episode, as taking the girl back to her family, and then of course having to deal with the Klingons. So yeah, I think Christina Chong has stood out the most so far this season. I mean, she was in it briefly, of course, in Charades in episode 5, but yeah, I think she stood out the most so far. How about you? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I can agree with that. She did stand. They've done a lot with her in just this short amount of time in these 5 episodes. I think they've really used her well.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm gonna go with Spock.
Ooh.
They've really done a lot with Spock, leading up from what had ended with season 1 with him, and him really struggling with the human side on him.
Yeah.
And like in the first episode when Nurse Chapel was injured and all that, him just dealing with it, and him going to basically to M'Benga being like, basically, how do I turn all this off? And M'Benga's like, no, you can't. Just embrace it.
Yeah.
Makes you human.
Yeah.
And you can tell he tries fighting it, but he gives in at moments. I love it. And then with the most recent episode, him losing his Vulcan side and being pure human,
right,
and him having basically his senses dialed to 11. Yeah. Him having it all at once and him experiencing it. And there's giving you thinking in parts of the episode. Does he want to go back to being Vulcan?
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, it goes back to last season, of course. With the Gorn episode at the in episode 9. I mean, where he had to bring out that rage and everything. And then in Charades, I mean, it was so funny how, like, when T'Pring's mother was just like, degrading him and everything. He's like, I have to go to the bathroom, and then he runs in there and he's like, it's like, so dealing with that human side has still been a challenge for him. But yeah, so these are images from the first episode of the season, of course. So, but yeah. And then, of course, La'an obviously having to continue to come to grips with the fact that she is a distant, her distant relative was Khan Noonien Singh. And that's the thing about this season. I mean, Khan Noonien Singh's name just keeps coming up. It came up in Ad Astra per Aspera, during the trial. And then, of course, in the episode with Kirk, in this alternate reality, she goes and actually meets Khan, the child Khan. So still having to deal with, the backlash of her family name.
Yeah, and it's really they're doing just so much with this. Is it making me think we're gonna get Khan end of this season, or are we gonna get Khan season 3? Because they're not just doing this to be like, hey, Star Trek fans, wink wink, we know know Khan and you love this character.
Yeah.
They can't just keep doing teases like this. They're gonna have a big payoff with this.
Yeah. Okay. Let's throw another question in here. What character in season 2 do you feel has been overshadowed?
Character for season 2
Yeah.
has been overshadowed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Captain Pike.
Okay. Anson Mount. Yeah. Captain Pike. Yeah.
Yeah. My kind of feelings, they do good uses of him, but like episode 1, he was maybe in it for 5 minutes, if that.
Yeah.
So first episode, not really there. Episode 2 he is used quite effectively and heavy into it. Episode 3, he was in it a fair amount, but like they've been weird with him.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't been really using him as much as I would have thought they would.
Yeah.
And like in the last episode, they did use him a fair amount.
Yeah.
But he was more for parts of the other half of the second half of episode 5. He was more comedic relief than anything, I felt.
Yeah. I have to agree. I think Pike, he's been overshadowed a bit in this season. I think, but later in the season, I think he's going to have a lot more to do with each episode. We shall see. But I mean, like that first episode, he was in it for like one scene. I'm taking off, Spock, you're in charge of the ship. And then, of course, in the second episode, he's going to meet the attorney and everything. And then he's in little other bits and pieces of it. But I think, episode 4, he was among the Lotus Eaters. I think that was his best performance of the season so far. But I think I
would agree.
But I think he's been overshadowed so far in that regard. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Well, do you think? Sorry to just kind of throw one in here myself here.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Because we both agree on the same character.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to get for the later half of the season that he's going to be reminded, because he does know of the event that is going to happen for him, with him going into the cage and all that?
Yeah.
Do you think is he going to get some little flashes or getting reminded of it, and that that's coming soon?
I'm gonna say episode 7 is obviously the episode with Boimler and Mariner. I mean, it's mostly going to be a comedic episode, kind of like Charades was in a sense. I mean, there were the serious moments, but a lot of the episode was very, comedic and had a lot of humor in it. Episode 7, which is, of course, coming on July 27th, it's called Those Old Scientists. And I think Mariner or Boimler, one of the two, is going to slip up something about that to Pike. Because they know what happens. I mean, obviously, Mariner and Boimler are from the 24th century. They're from like Picard's time. So they know what happens in the past. So it's like, it's interesting. It's like Pike knows his future. Well, Boimler and Mariner probably know Pike's past, obviously. So I think that's going to be something to watch out for in episode 7. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good time to kind of bring it, because you can easily do it. Would be like, because they could just be like, Captain Pike, I remember hearing the stories about you. Oh, stories? What stories have you heard about me? Oh, it's nothing. And then one of them is when they're doing that, let it slip at something. Yeah, I could easily see that happening.
Yeah,
and that would make the sense. But I wouldn't be surprised we get something also with the season finale, them to kind of set it up.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think they're going to ride Pike for a while. I mean, Anson Mount.
I hope they.
Anson Mount is doing a great job. I mean, So I just think that we're going to see at least another season or 2 seasons with him before they move over to Paul Wesley. We shall see, but yeah, it's interesting.
I would hope I want them to give him a few more seasons, because he's doing he's a great job as the Boy Scout. A little reference for season 1, if you remember.
Yeah.
And not to say Paul Wesley, he does a great job as Kirk, and I like what they've been doing with him. They just throw him in an episode here or two there, just to give you a reminder. Kirk is out there, but it's still years before Kirk and Spock.
Right. Yeah, because I think now in the show we're in 2259, so we're still a few years off. I think Kirk and Spock start in 2265. I think it is. But
I believe it's that.
Yeah.
Or it's somewhere close to that.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get a little controversial here. Least favorite character in season 2.
I gotta go so far. If you don't want to count regular cast, to Pring's mother.
Yeah. Well, yes. Well, yeah, obviously, but I mean, what I was referring to was the regular cast. I mean, she's like a guest, But I mean, yeah, obviously, if you had to throw in every single person, yeah, definitely she would top the list. But of the regular cast members, who's your least favorite of season 2? Maybe they were more liked in season 1, but you don't like them in season 2 so far.
Just trying to think, because it is hard, because I love this casting. This casting is great, and they play great characters.
Right.
So it's like I'm trying to have to go with like who they've kind of used the least, or who have they used not as effectively,
right,
compared to season 1.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go Nurse Chapel.
Oh wow, really? Jess Bush. Okay.
Yeah.
And why is that?
This was a hard one for me. Because for most of the episode, she's just the standard. I am the nurse on the starship. It wasn't till the last episode where we really, get her emotional, her personality coming out.
Okay.
So, like, most of the episode was just her, the generic, and like, except for like in episode 1 where her and the doctor take the drugs, and that just became like, that was not a moment I really cared for.
Okay. Well, for me, this character was not in season 1. She's only been in season 2 so far. But Carol Kane, the engineer, I just she's too comedic for that role. I mean, I like her as an actress, but just playing as the chief engineer, I mean, she seems too comedic, and the way she speaks, it almost sounds like she's intoxicated half the time. But I mean, I think
you hear about how much these shows, how much they're spending on the craft tables and all that. Could be. I
mean, it's just the comedic element of it is fine, it's great, but I just I think it would be more of I liked Hemmer much more. I just like Hemmer much more as a character.
Hemmer worked way better. It's just sad that we no longer have Hemmer because of the events of season 1.
We might get him in flashbacks, though. We haven't yet, but maybe from episode 6 through 10, we might get him in a flashback at some point. So
I hope we do, because that was such a good character.
Yeah,
in season 1.
Well, the question is, how long is Carol Kane going to be in Strange New Worlds? Because obviously they're going to have to replace her with Scotty. They're going to have to find an actor to play Scotty at some point. Whether it's season 3 or season 4. Because he's going to have to take over and become the chief engineer. So we shall see.
I'm gonna go with my guess, I think we're gonna get. She won't last a season.
Mhm.
I'm not saying like she'll be finished by the end of the season.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she's dying per se,
Mhm.
but I think they'll find a better engineer. Whether it's gonna, I don't think we're getting Scotty for season 3. I think we will get a different engineer, and that'll be the last engineer we have till they eventually bring in Scotty.
Interesting.
It's just the guess I'm gonna go with.
I see. Okay, so let us know in the comments who do you think has been the best character so far in season 2, and who is your least favorite character so far in season 2? We'd like to hear from you in the comments on that. So so Burley, do you have anything you want to throw out, or I'll throw another question? Well, what do you got for us for season 2 so far? Yeah.
My question: do you think we're gonna get Kirk again for this?
Yes.
Another episode for this season?
Yes, because he's already been in one of the trailers. They show him sitting and drinking with Uhura. So yeah.
Oh yeah, that is right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So yes.
That goes my question.
Yeah, he's Paul Wesley's gonna be in it again. Yeah. Yeah. But let's talk about, of course, your favorite scenes from this midway point of the season, episodes 1 through 5. What scenes have you enjoyed the most from the first 5 episodes? And all of you that are watching and in the chat, let us know what your favorite scenes were from the first 5 episodes. So Burley, what was one of your favorite scenes in episodes 1 through 5?
For me, one of my favorites was in the episode 2 with Pike there, just trying to get to the lawyer's office. You know, him with the oxygen mask.
Okay, yeah.
The girl just tell him, "You're gonna have to wait." It's like, I got it all day.
Yeah.
Just standing there till he passes out. Sitting there till he passes out, showing how determined he is, not going to give up. I love that.
Yeah.
And then when he wakes up and her talking to him, and just the conversation going back and forth, I love that moment.
Okay. Let's see. I think in the first episode, I have to go with it. I love this image here of La'an just like crying like a baby after she talks to to Kirk again. Yeah. But I think from the first episode, I'd have to say the drinking competition between La'an and the Klingon. Drinking the blood wine. And she just drank him down, and he just passed out. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was a good moment. Yeah.
And then in episode 2, I really loved the scene with the, of course, the attorney defending number 1 towards the end of the episode, basically talking about that one article and the scene when she was examining the admiral, of course, and just making Starfleet look bad. Admiral April, and she was just saying, this prime directive that it's called now, you've broken that prime directive at least 3 times, and so it's okay to break the prime directive, but then it's not okay to accept her application. I mean, I thought that was amazing, an amazing bit of acting, was a great scene there. So,
well, that whole courtroom trial was just so well done.
Yes,
so well done. Yeah. But another moment from that episode, I really liked. It was more comedic in nature. Is where you've got Spock talking with the prosecutor there in the lunchroom area. The other Vulcan, and then you got the doctor saying, "You can tell he's angry" and all that. I love that because I'm forgetting the name of the pilot. Ortegas.
Yes, Ortegas.
Ortegas, thank you. Ortegas is like, you can tell that, and she's like, yes, and he's explaining, yeah, he's angry and all this. I just love that because Ortegas' face is like, the heck are you talking?
Yeah, Mabanga was like telling her, you know, the facial expressions and the movements tell everything, you know. So, yeah, but yeah, and that Judge Advocate General, yeah, unfortunately, Captain Patel. I mean, in the what was it? I think it was episode 4. With Among the Lotus Eaters, she was denied promotion to Commodore because of him. You know, yeah. So he wouldn't allow her to be promoted because they lost the case. You know, unfortunately, but yeah. So, but another great scene in this midpoint of the season, I would have to say, is. I would say in episode 5. I mean, the last episode in Charades. That scene that I was talking about in the last video that we did, and you can go and check out our breakdown and review of episode 5 of Charades. It was a great episode, but the sequence where Nurse Chapel comes in to give him the hypo spray, Spock, the hypo spray, and before that, she questions him about why did you do what you did on the shuttlecraft and revert, you know, the shields to me so that it could protect me and not you. And then, you know, his human side obviously was coming out along with the fact that, hey, it was the logical thing to do because of my Vulcan physiology, you know, and all. And then he was about to tell her exactly how he felt about her, and then she jabbed him with the hypo spray, and then obviously just instantly he became back to his Vulcan self again. And then she runs out of the room and just tears are about to stream down her face. You know, I just love that scene. I thought that was one of the best scenes of the season so far.
So, yeah, one of the best scenes of the whole show, to be completely honest. Yeah, there were a lot of great moments in that one. Yeah. For me, I want to go back to episode 3, the one where she and Kirk go back in time, and it's the alternate time to save Khan.
Will you like that? Will you like that because it was in Canada, Burley?
Exactly. Yes, I'm not gonna lie.
Close to your hometown, man. Out there in Toronto.
Yeah. Close to the city I live in, because I live in Hamilton, which is like a quick 40-minute to an hour drive. So it's, but I love that they're in this time. They know they need money because they gotta have food and clothes and all that, and they're figuring out how can they make money. And Kirk sees all the people playing chess there. He's like, let me. I think I got a way here, and then just showing him beating all the people at chess.
Yeah,
it was just a great little montage.
Yeah. I mean, I love the Canada sequence. It kind of reminded me of Star Trek 4: The Voyage Home, that was filmed in I think it was 1984. I was in high school at that time, so a lot of the city was blocked off because of the filming at that time. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and then of course Kirk buying the hot dogs. Of course being the being the chess master that he is. And he was making fun of two-dimensional chess, being like it's like child's play basically. It's the three-dimensional chess that's the that's the challenge,
the real
game. Yeah, so yeah, I like that part. But yeah, just them going around in the city and then driving through it and all. I thought that was really cool. Yeah. So okay, next, your least favorite scenes so far in this first half of the season. Stuff that they should have just cut out. That scene didn't really need to be in the episode.
Okay, well then we're gonna go to episode 1.
Okay.
With Mbanga and Nurse Chapel taking the drug. and
I
them
yeah,
becoming the soup.
yeah.
Yeah, that sequence, like they
Yeah.
could have wrote. I'm sorry, they could have wrote something better for that. That just seemed like, okay, we kind of rid ourselves in a corner with these two being captured and all this.
Yeah.
So we need to fight. We don't want to give them just to have the other side of the crew rescue them.
Yeah.
We gotta have them get out themselves. How do we do it? Oh, we'll just give a drug, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just that to me seemed more lazy writing. I would like two of them, because they were going on a starship and all that.
Yeah.
Have because they've been on a starship for years. Know a few tricks and stuff. Use technological advantage. Use their advantages of knowing the ship well.
Yeah.
To be able to do a few things and trick the Klingons and stopping them.
Yeah.
I think would have been better.
Yeah, the berserker. I call it the berserker drug. Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's like
It's a fitting name.
yeah. I mean, it had to be green, of course. It's like
yeah.
they're doing the Marvel thing there. It's like, is it She-Hulk and the Hulk and all that? Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't turn into like Hulks. Yeah, but
well, maybe we're just gonna see at the end of the year. Disney buy Star Trek.
no, I don't think so. But
CBS lets it go.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Prodigy was unfortunately dumped by Paramount Plus, which was, I think, a mistake because it's going to be picked up by some other streaming service and it's going to flourish, whichever streaming service that is. I would hope Netflix picks it up, but I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I think for me, I don't know, just in tomorrow, the scene with La'an and the boy Khan, I think it's just, I think they're just using too much of the Khan card, so to speak, and I think that just didn't really need to be in that episode. Where she's talking to, the younger, Khan. So, I mean, where are they going with this? That's the question. I mean, where are they going with this? Obviously, Khan is not going to show up until, the Kirk's 5-year mission. So, I mean, where is La'an at that time? Is she dead? Or something happens to her, or she's transferred, or, but it's,
or does she
where
join Khan?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
maybe she joins Khan like later on. We don't know, but I mean, it's just, where are they going with this? Why did they need to put that scene into the episode? I just, I thought it could have been cut out. They really didn't need to use it, but I understand where it's like, okay, the Romulans, they want to kill Khan. And then they want to stop the eugenics war from happening before it starts. And then, of course, the Federation doesn't become founded, so to speak. But yeah, it's just, did they have to have the scenes there with her talking to a little boy for like a couple of minutes? I don't
know. No, they did not. The thing is like they play the Khan card way too much.
No.
Like, I get why they're doing it, because Khan is such a popular character, and it's that name they can keep always dropping to get attention. Like,
yeah, like they did in Picard. They did in Picard.
I was about to say that they had to bring it up in Picard.
Yeah, season 2 at the very end. So
that was just like, really, out of all the shows, Khan did not need to be brought up in Picard.
Yeah.
They're putting too much of Khan out there, because it's like, are we actually going to get him? Because if we don't actually get him in the show, then I'm gonna, like, with him, being a villain and all that.
Right.
I don't want to keep reminding him. Like, having the stuff in season 1, her being related to Khan was enough. That was enough.
Yeah.
Okay, you dropped your Easter egg and all that. You got people, and that's exciting.
Yeah.
But it seems to me like they're like, we got to keep mentioning Khan. Okay, we mentioned Khan this episode. We can wait another episode or 2 episodes to mention Khan again. We got to have a Khan quota.
Yeah.
it's like no, I'm done. I've had enough stuff on Khan. If I really want to get stuff on Khan, I will go watch the original episode. I think it's Space Seed in the original series, and then you can go watch Star Trek 2.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah. So, yeah, actually, it's interesting. Aside from Khan and all, but I was looking up, the situation with T'Pring, from episode 5, and obviously, she was in episode or in season 1, but I was going back to figure out whether Spock and T'Pring actually do end up together, and they don't. It's interesting because I think it's one of the original series episodes called Amok Time. It's like it basically shows their proposed marriage failing, and that she wants to marry another Vulcan, and she tries to set a trap for Kirk and Spock to fight each other to the death. So.
Oh. No, and they choose the Anvun and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, whether they're going to go into that later on, we don't know. Probably because that's later on after Pike. So, I mean, probably we're not going to see. I don't think we're going to see T'Pring again this season. I really don't. I think that's done. I think what.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say I'll let you finish on your point, and then I'll
I think they're just going to continue with the arc of Spock and Nurse Chapel and that relationship, and how it either deepens or somehow they decide to go their own ways again, because obviously Spock is going to be single, as we know. So how does that relationship deepen, or how does that relationship deepen and then break apart? What we shall see. But I think they're going to continue down the arc of the the relationship between Spock and Nurse Chapel, which is basically non-canon. I mean, they're basically making this stuff up. So go ahead, your thoughts.
I think we're going to get T'Pring in the end of the season. I think in that finale they'll bring her back. Whether or not her and Spock try and work it out.
What about Sybok?
I think we're going to get a mention of Sybok.
Okay.
Because she is in charge and has stuff to do with the whole prison and all that.
Right.
She may contact him.
Yeah.
About his half brother.
Yeah. Or she might let him out. She might be the one to let him out. Who knows?
Sorry, since I know you cheated on me with a nurse, I'm going for your brother, Spock.
Yeah.
We'll do this on Space Springer.
I don't think that's gonna happen. But I mean, there might be some situation where she lets him out, and then that's when Sybok starts to become the Sybok that he is. Like in. I'm just going to say it now, the worst Star Trek movie that was made, Star Trek 5. So that's just my opinion, but yeah.
What does God need with a spaceship?
Exactly. So
that is, I agree, that is the worst film. I think she may contact, like, whether or not she contacts him to, start the relationship up again or not, or she may contact him and be like, just so you know, your brother has escaped. Sybok is on the loose. Be careful, Spock.
Yeah.
You may be a target.
Yeah.
I have a feeling we may get that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they bring back, for some reason, we get something to do with T'Pring's parents.
Yeah. I think they should just let that die. I mean, Charades was good.
I think so too, yeah. But I can't. I don't know why I'm getting that feeling that they cast and use them once. They're not going to do that for one. They're going to bring them back at least one more time, whether this season or next.
Okay. All right. Let's get back to our mid-season discussion here about episodes 1 through 5. Which character in the season has surprised you the most? For me, it's Uhura, and how she has changed since season 1. Now she is not a cadet anymore. She has graduated from the academy, and she is very strong. And for example, in episode 1, when they were at Space Dock, and that one officer came up and said, I need to take over your station for a few minutes, and she wouldn't let him. And then in the episode
in episode 5,
in episode 2, in Ad Astra Per Aspera, when La'an came up to her, and you would think, how La'an is so forceful in the way she speaks to others. You would think that she would just cringe and okay, yeah, yes, sir, I'll get that information for you. But no, she stood her ground and was right in La'an's face and said, no, you don't want to do that, and I don't want to break regulations. Sorry, we're going to have to find another way. I just applauded at that moment. It's good for you. You did the right thing, and she stood up for herself, and she's been a surprise this season so far in how her character has changed. I mean, for the better, and to be stronger. And I think she's taken a lot of what Hemmer told her in the first season to heart. So yeah, I think Uhura has been the surprise of the season for me so far. So how about you?
Yeah, she's been doing great in it, and I liked with episode 5 where she's the one who is able to get the signal and do the contact with the species that did the repair on Spock.
Yeah,
she was the one who figured out it's some kind of communication here. Do you want to hail them, Captain?
Yeah.
And they're all shocked and surprised that she figured it out. She was the one, and like you said, that moment in episode 2 where she stands up for herself, being no, this could cause more harm than good.
Right.
We got to do things proper here.
Yeah, and I like that. I like the scene there when they're in the cafeteria or whatever. Could we get this to go? It's they're gonna go to the shuttlecraft now, but they're gonna take the food with them. I thought that was pretty cool. So Burley, which character has surprised you the most this season?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anyone because Uhura, I have to agree. Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to think if there's anyone really else, because everyone else, I feel for the most part, has been their same kind of role.
Yeah.
From season 1, and has they've done well, but it's just kind of stuck. So I'm gonna just agree with you, Uhura.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so your favorite episode so far this season, 1 through 5, and your least favorite. So all of you that are watching in the chat, please let us know which episode have you liked the most this season. Which episode have you disliked the most?
As for best episode, I'm going to go with the latest episode 5.
Okay.
I think it was just a really good moment.
Charades.
Charades.
Yep.
It was just a really great episode, and you've got the whole thing with Spock.
Yeah.
Examining being full human.
Right.
And him having to go with it, deal with it, and his mother, who's been is only human, but she's lived on planet Vulcan for how many years and all this.
Yeah.
Having to basically teach him and to try and get him through it and deal with his human side a lot and all that.
Yeah.
It was just and with all the character moments with Nurse Chapel, the moments with T'Pring and T'Pring's family, just so many great character moments.
Right.
And stuff that this is the stuff I like with Star Trek, when you do it well. Great character moments.
Yeah.
And all that.
Yeah.
Now, as for least favorite episode, I probably got to go the opener season.
Okay.
The episode 1.
Yeah.
It's not a bad this is hard to pick because I have liked all 5 episodes. But episode 1 has the worst moments.
Yeah.
for me. The
broken
whole
circle.
Berserker.
The Berserker. You
And
just
the
going
whole-
off the Berserker part, yeah.
That was just such bad writing, and it's like there were some moments that were just like, because you got the new thing with the whole new engineer and her being like, well, if you want to do this, you can just say you do this and that. I was like, okay, can we just like, you know what's going on? We don't need to sit here and waste 5 minutes. Yes, we know they're going to take the ship and go see their friend and help rescue their friend.
Yeah.
So let's move on. We don't need to spend 5-10 minutes on this.
Yeah, but like we're seeing here in the images, I love the scene at the end here when Spock's emotion comes out to, when Nurse Chapel, he thinks she's dead, she's frozen there. And then, of course, the negotiation with the Klingons here. Yes. I really liked how Spock dealt with it. And, he's like, okay, let's have some blood wine and we can get over this. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that stuff in the episode I loved, like those great character moments. Spock standing up to the Klingons and dealing with them, and him when he's thinking Nurse Chapel's going to die and she's not going to make it, in his human side, and you can see he's letting it out, but he's also fighting. He is fighting his human side there too. Yeah. So it's great moments there.
Yeah. Okay, my turn. I really think my favorite episode is still episode 2, Ad Astra Per Aspera. I mean, the court case and just the whole episode revolves around discrimination. And of course, it's something in our own lives that we have to deal with in this world that we're living in this 21st century world. We still have discrimination, unfortunately.
Sadly, yes.
And so I really loved how the court case, brought out the best in the lawyer, as well as, of course, the feelings of number one, and talking about how she has, overcome so much, and had a dream of going to the stars. Through hardship, Ad Astra Per Aspera, so I really love that episode. Least favorite episode, I'd probably have to say Among the Lotus Eaters. I mean, the yeoman becoming like an emperor, it's just I wasn't into that part, obviously, Rigel 7, and that situation was interesting, going to that planet and all, but and the situation where their minds, they lose their memories and everything. I thought that was a little interesting, but just, I mean, a little bit of that plot just didn't sit so well with me. But I would say Among the Lotus Eaters is probably my least favorite of the season. And Ad Astra Per Aspera is the best. And then a close second would be Charades, the latest episode, because it also deals with discrimination, and it also deals with, cross-cultural in our world, but then, of course, in Star Trek, cross-species, relationships and all. So, I thought that was interesting. Because, as you know, of course, I live here in Japan, and, of course, being an American living among the Japanese, and it can be fun, but then it can also be very difficult at times. So I can relate to Spock's mother in that episode. So really good episode. So those are my top 2. So episode 2 and episode 5. So. All right, so I guess
those were some great picks.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
I said it is like I know it's hard to pick on some of these because there's only been 5 episodes, but all 5 episodes I think we can agree overall have been really well. There are in some we don't like, but overall the writing, the acting has been very well.
Yeah, definitely. So, Yeah, I like that scene there in episode 2. Admiral April just walks away, and Pike was offering him a drink, but he walks away, and then Pike just takes that drink and pours it into his own, so doubles it down. Yeah, I thought that was.
Hey, you can't waste the good shit.
Yeah, I can't waste it, man. Can't waste it.
You never know. It could have been Tranya. You should relish it.
Yeah. So we've gotten a little bit of the Klingons, gotten a little bit of the Romulans, in that alternate timeline, but we didn't get the Gorn yet. And I'm just thinking, man, oh man, they are saving the Gorn for the end of the season. So let's talk a little bit about, we've talked about episode 1 through 5 here for almost an hour. So let's talk a little bit about speculation for 6 through 10. What are we going to get? Obviously, episode 7, we're going to get Boimler and Mariner, and that's the episode that I'm really, really looking forward to the most so far for the rest of the season. So among the 24th century and the 23rd century, them colliding and all. So those old scientists, but the Gorn, I think they're saving that for towards the end of the season. So let me actually read off the remainder of the season. So episode 6 is called Lost in Translation, and we have already got a sneak peek trailer of that, where number 1 is in some shaft close to engineering, and of course Carol Kane, she comes up to her and is saying that there's supposedly some saboteur on the ship or something like that. So Lost in Translation, I think that'll probably be focused more on the engineer as well as maybe Uhura, because of obviously she's into communications. Those Old Scientists is episode 7. Of course, we know that's the crossover episode between Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks, and that's going to be amazing. I can't wait. And Jonathan Frakes obviously is directing that. So, and then episode 8, Under the Cloak of War. So there you go. I think that's where we get the Gorn. That makes sense. If we're gonna get the Gorn, that episode title just fits. Yeah. Episode 9 is called Subspace Rhapsody, and then episode 10, the season finale, Hegemony. So it could be 8 and 10. I think that we're gonna get the war with the Gorn, or whatever it's gonna be, because obviously we see at the end of episode 1 of this season, we see that they're tracking this Gorn ship, like an attack ship. So I think that the Gorn are probably going to try to infiltrate the Federation some Federation sectors. So that's going to be cool. So I think that's probably how they're going to end the season. Like there's going to be some Gorn attack or something, maybe. So because I think in one of the early season trailers that we had Spock in a suit outside of the ship, and I think he was met by some alien creature. Maybe that's an adult Gorn. I don't know. We shall see.
Right. Yeah, they show it briefly in a trailer. Yeah, that's right, with him in the suit. I remember that. Yeah. We're definitely gonna get the Gorn. They set it up at the beginning of the season. Yeah. So it's just a matter of when do we get it? Do we get it episode 8? Do we get it episode 9? Do we get it episode 10? Because I don't think we're gonna get it in 6 and 7.
Yeah. I want to see an adult Gorn. I want to see how because season 1 was just so amazing, and how they recreated the Gorn. I mean, it was so alien-esque, that episode 9. And so...
Not your goofy 60s dinosaur costume that they had from some cheap movie.
Yeah, and what La'an referred to is like an adult Gorn. There is no way any of us could overtake it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what an adult Gorn looks like, and I think probably in the later episodes we're gonna get one. I really do, and it's gonna be pretty creepy, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Because that was such a good episode last season.
Yeah.
So might as well do that kind of horror theme again of this being a full adult Gorn, this ship tracking them. How are they going to survive this encounter?
Yeah. 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 So what about character arcs? I mean, for the rest, I think I don't think is going to be, when it comes to his future, I don't think they're going to spend too much time on that. Like we talked about earlier in the episode here, in this live stream, I think maybe in episode 7 with the crossover that might come up briefly, but I just don't see that being too much of a part of this season, because it was emphasized a lot in the first season. Spock, I think it's more going to be him and Nurse Chapel, their situation. Mabanga, that'll be interesting to see where he goes for the remainder of this season. Because obviously the question is, when does McCoy come in to the picture? I mean, we don't know when McCoy becomes the chief medical officer. So, yeah, I don't know. I suppose he comes in with Kirk, but at the same time, but he might come in earlier. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's a weird one, because it's like they haven't done as much with him this season. Like season 1, a huge part of his arc was finding having his daughter in stasis to find a cure for her. They have what happens with her in that season in finding something.
Yeah.
And then it's just him being, the doctor and kind of mentor to Nurse Chapel and her medical career. They haven't done much with him other than like, here, Spock, here's a musical instrument. Here you go. Have that to help you.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
I'm hoping we get something with him where they use him, because he is a great character and a great actor.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get something soon, or if they're not going to do something with him soon, bring in Bones.
We're seeing the image here, of course, of Kirk and La'an. Do you think we could get more between the real timeline that they're in, Kirk and La'an? I'm thinking probably we might, because obviously Kirk is Paul Wesley's going to be in another episode, so maybe we will, and maybe La'an will keep her distance. I don't know. What do you think?
She'll keep her distance, and she'll be a little more awkward with him because of the moments they had in that one episode.
Yeah.
She had with him, even though it wasn't that version of Kirk,
right?
But it pretty much was. I'm wondering when they're going to bring up the stuff with the watch, because remember, she still does have the watch.
That's right. Yeah, because at the very end of the episode,
does he find it? Does someone else find it?
Yeah.
You got to do something with that watch. You can't just have her have that watch, set it up, and do nothing with it. They have to do something with it.
Yeah, we shall see. So, but yeah, and I think Nurse Chapel, like I said, I think her and Spock's, of course, relationship, I think that's going to, be something that they're going to, stretch out and have more scenes with later in the season. Number 1, it'll be interesting to see, her, role in the rest of the season. Obviously her big episode was episode 2, but I mean, I would like to see more of Rebecca Romagene, instead of just getting little bits of episodes here and there. We shall see, but and then
I'm sure we'll get stuff with her, and you can even still do it, even though she is accepted in the Federation, as they deal with other Federation ships, because they could even do it, let's say, with the Gorn episode, where let's say they have to, they know of the Gorn ships there. They've contacted every Federation ship in the area to come deal with this this problem that Gorn are causing something,
Right.
and you've got her in the meetings there, and everybody like, we can't trust her. She's enhanced and all that.
Yeah.
Can't trust her.
Yeah.
This and that, and you can have some great moments with that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it'll be interesting how much more we'll get of Admiral April this season as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing him again. Even though he probably doesn't want to talk to Pike too much right now, he's still pretty upset about what happened during the trial. But
he's got a few wounds from that trial.
Yeah, and then of course, you know, at the end of the first episode, he jumped on Spock, you know, but he was pretty lenient with him, you know, at the end there. It's like, you know, next time it'll be your commission, but you know, just be lucky, you know, this time just get the Enterprise back home, you know. But I mean, episode 7 is going to be so fun. I mean, it's just like that device that Boimler has in his hand. I mean, I think that's from a Lower Decks episode. So I'm really excited to see. And obviously, Pike and them are going to be in cartoon or in animation form as well. It's going to be like Boimler and Mariner obviously come to the Enterprise, but then of course, I think Pike and some of the others actually go, and you see them, you know, in animation form, supposedly on the Cerritos. Who knows? But yeah, that'll be interesting. I'm so excited for that episode.
Oh, that one's gonna definitely be. I can already tell in the top half of the season episodes.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting to see how you're gonna mash the styles of, you know, live action on set with the animation.
Yeah, I
cannot wait to see how they do it.
Yeah. Question, Burley, from the previous episode, tomorrow. Of course, the time traveler at the end of the episode. Do you think we'll see her again, or do you think that there might be some kind of situation where they have to deal with time? Maybe it's episode 7 where she has to come back again and maybe take Boimler and Mariner back to their own time. I don't know. Do you think we'll see her again?
Yes, I think we'll see her again, and I think it's something to do with the watch, too.
Okay.
I think that's all going to be connected. I wouldn't be surprised she is used for, you know, the Boimler Mariner episode 7, and used to take them back and to snap, course correct everything.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised we get that, but I could be like you could even have it in the episode of her Boimler and Mariner finding that watch.
Yeah.
Interacting with it and doing something with it, and it causes her to show up.
Maybe. Yeah. Who knows? I just think Boimler and Mariner are gonna be in Pike's quarters, and Pike is gonna cook him a gourmet meal, at least. So, yeah, something like that. I don't know. And I think Spock is gonna become more of a chef. Yeah, in some way, shape, or form, I think. So, I mean, there's going to be more cooking during the season, for sure. Because that's Pike's,
well, they've
Pike's
done a lot
specialty,
more cooking.
Yeah,
well, they've done a lot more cooking in these first 5 episodes than they did in the whole of season 1.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's a pretty safe bet we're going to get more cooking, and Spock being more involved in it now after having with episode 5 dealing with his humanity and him gorging on the food.
Right. Yeah. Good stuff. So yeah, let us know in the chat or in the comments what your favorite parts of the season were, or your least favorite parts of the season. We'd really like to hear from you. So yeah. So Strange New Worlds, season 2, episodes 6 through 7 or 6 through 10. It'll be really cool. And of course, in this live stream, we've been talking about episodes 1 through 5, so our mid-season discussion. So yeah, so good stuff. And I have to go back to the last episode in Charades, and that point when Nurse Chapel she tells the Vulcan, I guess he's the administrator of the Vulcan Science Academy or whatever, and she's like, I met an interdimensional species today who haven't talked to Vulcans or humans for hundreds of years, if not ever, and they gave me some form of medical technology that was able to help cure someone, and the guy's like, oh, what was that? And she's like, you'll be able to read it in my paper when it comes out later this year. And by the way, I loved how she said, and by the way, I've considered reapplying to your academy, but I don't think you guys are ready for me. Click. End of conversation. I love that. I mean, that was great.
Yeah, that was a great little moment. But you know what? Do we get, because you've got Spock and Nurse Chapel's relationship starting?
Yeah.
Do they try and hide it from the rest of the crew? And how long does that last?
I don't think so, because I mean, like in the episode, Ortegas and Uhura, they already know that she has feelings for Spock. They already know something's going on. So I mean, maybe not in public. They're not gonna show anything. Obviously,
but in private conversations, they're gonna make little subtle innuendos and all that. Yeah.
That'll probably happen. But I mean, nothing's gonna happen. I think they'll keep it pretty much private between the two of them, because Spock is a Vulcan. He's not gonna make advances on her in the open. So, but we shall see. But I don't know. We shall see. But I think most of this cast has plot armor through the rest of the season. I think we might get a surprise. Obviously, Hemmer was the big surprise of last season, not making it through. But I think this season, pretty much all of them have plot armor. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think most will have plot armor. We're gonna get one death this season. It's just a matter of who is it gonna be and when we gonna get it. We're gonna get it the finale. We're gonna get it the second to last episode. I think we're gonna get one death. We can easily say Spock and Pike are safe. I can't believe I was trying to combine their names and say.
I think Nurse Chapel's safe too.
Yeah, I think she'll be safe. I think most. It's just which person do we think, and Uhura, because they're not gonna. What are they gonna do? They're gonna do a fake out. She's.
Number one is a possibility, and then maybe Spock becomes number one later on. But I don't think they will get rid of Rebecca Romijn so quickly. I think she's safe.
Well, especially with what they've done with her so far at the beginning of this season. It's like we're now kind of waiting for them to use her more now, because now she's back, she's in, and it's all known about her.
Right. Yeah, we should say, I love the scene here with the bacon. Yeah, it was great. I mean, he just downs all that bacon, and he's like, "Why do I feel constipated?" Great scene.
Why do I feel nauseous and all that? I'm like, why do you think?
And there's another character that I would say that hasn't gotten many scenes is Kirk's brother. George Kirk. Yeah, I mean, that one scene in Charades there where Spock was about to go off on him. I mean, that's pretty much the only time we've seen him this season so far. So not much of Kirk's brother yet. So, but
I don't think they're gonna do too much with his brother. I think it's just more of, look, we got Kirk's brother. He's in here.
Yeah.
And he's different. He's different from James T. Kirk.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. All right. So I think that about covers it, Burley. I think for episodes 1 through 5. So our mid-season discussion of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. So yeah, we're really looking forward to, of course, the last 5 episodes of the season, season 2, episodes 6 through 10. So so let us know in the comments afterwards what you think of what you've thought of episodes 1 through 5. What were your favorite parts of the season so far? What were your least favorite parts? Who are your favorite characters so far and least favorite characters? We'd really love to hear from you in the comments. So anyway, I think that's going to do it for this live stream discussion. So I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burley. We hope to catch you in the next one, and we'll probably, later on down the road, we'll be doing another live stream discussion for the entire season. So like a season 2 recap of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. So we'll probably be doing that somewhere down the line here. So stay tuned for that. So anyway, and of course, our regular gaming news podcast, The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, will be back at this time next week. So we, of course, stream live here on YouTube on Saturdays from 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time and 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So our gaming news podcast will be back next week. So anyway, thank you so much. And for all of you that joined us, I want to thank Cammy Reaper for being in the chat with us. Thank you so much. And for all of you that come and view us later on, of course, it will be in our Warp Factor 10 playlist. So thank you so much for watching and for your support. And we hope to catch you in the next one. So take care, everyone. And of course, next week we will be doing our episode 6 breakdown and review of course, the next episode of Strange New Worlds. So anyway, live long and prosper, and take care, everyone.
Prosper.
Peace out.
Bye, everyone.